So I'm here with Dana Marissa Schoenfeld. She's the filmmaker, writer, actress, auteur behind Sasha and any number of projects. Congratulations and welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Although we're going to talk about other things, please do tell me what the story is of Sasha.
Sasha, I wanted to create a dynamic female character who was elusive, and she is a legendary art thief, a legendary art thief. And so she has a very strong moral compass, so she steals for the common good, but MI6 and Interpol and the FBI don't really know that. So they're after her.
Is she kind of a Robin Hood of the modern age?
She is a Robin Hood of the modern age, correct,
okay.
Yes.
And just very quickly, we'll talk about this. What's very interesting is, I know we talked about you briefly about Pateri, but what's wonderful is the complete difference between this and Pateri, actually.
Yes.
Which just shows, obviously you are deeply entrenched in all sorts of projects. For all I know, you might do rom-coms, as in some. I don't know.
Do.
No, but there you go. So yeah. So you do really are a woman for all seasons in terms of any project which you think is worth making. You'll make it.
I just fell in love with stories and storytelling since I was a child, and making films and realizing these stories to me is such a passion.
Yeah.
So I'm a creator, and when a great idea comes my way, or when I think of a great idea, I just feel the need to make it happen.
So presumably something piqued your interest with this, and how did that sort of start? Well, we know the story, but if we can just roll back, and how did it land on your desk, or did it come to you? Well, this is your kind of baby, I know, but how did it start?
Yeah, it's my baby. I had never done an art heist before. I had worked on a lot of comedies. I did a comedy called Dead Drunk that I want to roll into a feature. I did a comedy called, actually I did Swiped Right after that. But when I came up with the idea for Sasha, I wanted to do something that I'd never done before. I wanted to create a female character that was really intriguing, and something that was someone who was kind of smarter than everyone else, so that she was just sort of one step ahead.
Yeah.
And so that came to me, and then I was always a huge fan of the film The Thomas Crown Affair. So this is
the original one?
Not the original
the
one.
Pierce Brosnan one, yeah?
Yes, the Pierce Brosnan one.
Okay.
And so I wanted to sort of pay homage to that.
Yeah.
And create a really interesting female character. Yeah.
So you were always kind of in the frame for yourself in terms of the role for you in the film?
The idea of wearing a wig and playing sort of multiple characters within her.
You know what I mean.
Yeah, I wanted to do something that forced me to look at the world in a different way. And I feel like Sasha's take on life is very different than my own, and I wanted to step into that as an actor because I found that really exciting.
And what's it like? I'm going to go off piece here, I always do. What's it like to wake up every day being involved in filmmaking? I'm not talking about the financial aspect of it. I'm talking about, I don't mean necessarily living the dream, but you are kind of, if everyone here is, of course, you are kind of in a way, because you are all part of something a lot of people aspire to do, but find it very, very hard to do. And you are in a position which I'm sure you work bloody hard to get to where you are. But of course, is it possible to explain how fulfilling that actually is?
It is a dream come true, and every day I am so grateful to be able to make films, to have the passion and the courage and the drive to do it.
I guess what I mean by that is, I can't imagine a Wall Street banker waking up every day who maybe only has a shitload of money, I can't imagine him waking up every day thinking, I feel blessed because I'm going down to the stock market today, or whatever he does. The point I suppose what I'm trying to get to is filmmaking by its very nature is very creative. It must be incredibly fulfilling. That's kind of what I mean.
It's incredibly fulfilling on so many levels, because as a filmmaker, I really get to create something from nothing.
Yeah.
And then as the producer, I get to do all of the business side of it, and I have very much both of those sides in me, the creative, the artist, and the entrepreneur. So I get to kind of merge those together to create a film, and it's completely satisfying, but there's always another one to make. So how do I say this? I feel incredibly grateful, and yet I feel like there's so much to do.
Yeah, yeah.
I think a Wall Street banker, if the market's up, feels just as blessed.
Yeah, but never creatively, I guess. And it kind of might sound a bit patronising. It's not meant to be, but you are an artist. And yes, he is blessed. I'm sure he's making a shed load of money, but he's not actually making anything in the real sense of the word, in terms of you're actually creating something artistic.
It feels incredibly liberating to be able to create something artistic. And then so much of filmmaking is about working with the right people. Surrounding yourself with people who inspire you, who you trust, who you love, who you want to see shine, who you support and they support you. And so that's where I feel really blessed to be able to work with so many great people.
And did you fall into it, or did you plan it? Did it happen by accident in the beginning and then you sort of morphed into, to tell me, how did this happen?
Well, it started, I definitely planned it.
Right, okay.
But I fell in love with aspects of filmmaking that I didn't know. So I started out, I did some stand-up comedy right out of college. And
that must be the worst.
Once you do that,
I know, you can do anything.
You can do anything because the opportunity to humiliate yourself happens every day, and you get a thick skin, and you realize it's not really about me. It's about the moment, or the joke didn't land, or the right people weren't in the audience, and so you start to take it less personally, and so that sort of is a very empowering thing to then go on and say it doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter. Just do what you love.
But I can't imagine for a moment that you tell a joke that doesn't go down well, or you're just starting to bumble the lines. It must be hellish. Please try and give me a sense of just how. I mean, I'm certain now that if that was to happen, you could not probably brush it off, because you've already explained that actually you realise it's not the end of the world and it doesn't really mean that much. But at the time, it must be absolutely soul-destroying.
It's devastating.
It is.
But you know that the first time I ever did stand-up, I actually killed. So everybody laughed, and it was a really incredible experience for me. So it takes you on a high. And then the next time you do the same exact set, and no one laughs. And you go, well, what happened? What went wrong? What's wrong?
So exactly the same,
pretty much.
For some reason you just missed the beat, or whatever happens.
That's right. And so I think at a very young age, I sort of learned that lesson, to separate the emotional element from the work. But then I spent many years working in production, working for some brilliant writers and producers, and I worked, and then I won a 2-year scholarship to Writers Boot Camp in California. So I studied screenwriting. So I always wanted to make films, and I always wanted to be an actor.
Even when you're doing the comedy?
Even when I was doing the comedy.
Oh, okay, right.
But I fell in love with directing after I wrote my first pilot and hired a director, and while on set going, you know what, I actually want to do that. This is not how I saw it on the page, and I think there's a lot of empowerment when you direct your own work.
And it's very difficult for me not to talk about being a female in the system, particularly everything that's going on at the moment, of course. But and it's kind of a question I posited to a female director in the week. I was trying to get us, and she gave me her opinion, and it was to try and understand just how difficult it is to make it, whatever making it means in the film world, in terms of being master of your own destiny, having your own productions, being an actress, and wearing all these different hats and spinning all these different plates. I know it's incredibly difficult for anyone that's in the industry. And I was trying to understand the kind of work ethic that you need in order to have any chance of success, which is the question to you.
Well, I think...
Because it's never just going to come to you like anything. You've got to work very, very hard.
You have to make it happen. But I've never let being a woman get in my way, or I've never felt like it was something that would prevent me from doing the things I wanted to do. I think it's about loving the work and sort of driving ahead no matter what gender you are, because all of that is irrelevant. it's about the work. It's about the movie. It's about how do I tell the best story? How do I get the best cast? Where do I find the financing? How do I learn my lines so that I can drop into set and surround myself with people, and so I don't have to worry, so I can just be in the role at that moment. And being a woman is just a part of me. Being the artist, being an artist is who I am.
You're okay.
And that's the way I look at it.
And is there anything that you've done, let's say the biggest mistake, that's not necessarily what I mean, but looking back, is there something you wish you'd really done differently? Has it all been pretty much how you wanted to go? I hope this question isn't too taxing, because God knows I've made mistakes, we all do, don't we? Because we're humans and it happens, but is there something you can talk about, you think, I wish I'd done this differently, or perhaps if I'd have done that or this, it might have turned, is anything like that happened?
Yes, definitely. I've made tons of mistakes. Tons of mistakes. It comes with the territory, and you learn the most after you make those mistakes.
Yeah.
I would say, we were actually just talking about this the other day, I would say the one thing would be that I wish I had started to make my films earlier on, rather than waiting for other people to say, it's good enough, it's not good enough, just to say, you know what, I know it's good enough and I'm going to make it, and I'm going to show you why it's good enough. So I think that would be the one thing that I wish I did earlier. But the truth is, the people I learned, the experiences I had, the jobs I had, all led me to this point. So I have to believe that it all happens when it's supposed to happen.
And yet, paradoxically, I've spoken to tons of filmmakers that have been lawyers, architects, engineers, have come to filmmaking much later in life. And when I've asked the question why they didn't do it earlier, they said because the moment wasn't right.
Right.
So I guess the point I'm trying to make is you just never know, do you?
You
I
don't.
know life is short and everything, but you just who knows what's around the corner,
Right.
And maybe you could have started it early and it would have been a disaster. You just don't know, do you?
Well, I have a TV show called East that I shot, I wrote, directed, starred in, and it's all about a woman who decides later on in life, she loses her job, she loses her boyfriend, and she steps into what she really wants to do, which is to be an actor. And that TV show is all about the struggle of the journey of the dream.
Yeah.
And that show is a lot about the experiences I had working in the entertainment industry.
Based on a true story.
Loosely based on a true story.
Yeah.
And so if I hadn't had those experiences, I wouldn't have that material from a very authentic place to be able to create this series that I hope is really going to inspire people to follow their dreams. So even with your mistakes, they happen for a reason, and you hope they happen for the greater good. Yeah.
No, honestly, everything you say makes perfect sense. So I've seen this. I've seen both films, and really brilliantly shot. Actually, the cinematography is really, really good.
Thank you. So the cinematographer is an Australian gentleman named Jacques Lang. I met him at I work with a lot of a community of actors in New York at the Actors Green Room, and we met at a screening. And I had seen a film that he had shot, and I hired him to be a first AC for another film I did, Dead Drunk, and then I hired him to be my DP for Sasha, and he is fantastic.
Oh, he's nailed it, yeah.
He is so
really
good. And he's so much fun to work with. He's one of those filmmakers that you do anything to get the shot. So at 1 a.m, we didn't have the airport scene in the beginning when I lift my hand up. He said, we got to go to LaGuardia, and we drive out a half an hour after we've been shooting for all day long to get the shot. So I'm so grateful to Jacques, and he's nominated.
That's right, and brilliantly, you just, in a nutshell, explained for all those people that don't realise just how the sacrifice you're talking about. You've worked with something, and suddenly you've got to go somewhere at 1 o'clock in the morning to get the shot you need, and that really is a good example of how tough it actually is to shoot films.
True.
Very long days.
True.
Very long hours.
And how much you depend, especially on your cinematographer, on the people that are supporting you to help realize that vision.
And this project ended up being the project you hoped and prayed, not prayed, because I'm sure you don't pray, because you're the master of your destiny, obviously, but has it ended up being the project that you envisaged it would be? Has it been the proof of concept or the...
I am so proud of this film. I am so proud of this film and so many actors that are in this film. And what I want to do with Sasha is I want to make it into a feature. So my goal is to come to London shoot in London, shoot throughout Europe, and really sort of bring forth all of the beautiful pieces of art throughout Europe, so that we can learn in the film about the work and also through the eyes of this character. So yeah, I'm really proud of it. I want to develop it more. When the feature will have a little bit more backstory into Sasha's motivations and some of the other characters. The woman that plays the MI6 agent.
I was surprised. She's actually American, isn't she?
She's American. Her name is Stephanie Wepler.
Yeah.
She's so fantastic. She's so talented. And a lot of the work we did was just her and I improvising together on set.
Yeah.
We came up with some great material, that end scene. And so Stephanie Wepler was going to be here and wishes she was here today, but she just got cast in her first network show in New York, so she's going to be on Bull, and she's shooting it today, so she was unable to be here, but she brought so much to this film on a comedic level. I'm so grateful to her, and she's been in all of my films.
Right, okay.
I cast her in East, in Dead Drunk, in Swiped Right, which is a romantic comedy. You asked me if I'd done comedy before. I have a comedy.
Is that kind of like a Tinder-esque?
It is.
I guess it is the name, like Swipe Right.
Yeah.
Is right yes and left no? I don't know, I've never used it.
Swipe right is yes.
Oh, okay, right, okay, right, okay.
You usually swipe left. And
Oh, right, okay.
99%
of the time to the left. Okay, right, okay. I only know two people who've ever used Tinder. I'm sure it's, I'm sure it's very popular, but yeah, I actually know two people who've used it.
It's a funny story. It was the idea came from a woman named Lydia Fiore, who I know also from this group of actors. And Lydia approached me because she had seen some of my work with an idea and a script, and I rewrote the script and ended up writing, directing, producing, and I have a supporting role in Swiped Right. Swiped Right's done really well in the United States and a lot of the film festivals, so we're really proud of that one. And we're hoping to roll that out into a feature as well.
And at any given time, like now for instance, how many projects would you have either in production? How many plates are you spinning right now, approximately?
Well, Exit Zero with Paige Cooper Anderson, I'm going to be co-directing, and I also play one of the leads.
Yeah.
So I have Exit Zero, I have Dead Drunk to make into a feature, I have Sasha into a feature, Swiped Right into a feature, and and I'm developing. We're still in the early stages. I'm working with Kristen Henge, who's a Tony-nominated director, on a pilot that we're writing.
Yeah.
And I'm also writing a story about divorce with a producer named Julie Zellman. So I have a handful. It's a comedy.
Right, okay.
And I have a handful of. I'm a busy girl, but I'm so lucky. I'm so blessed.
And I know you're in New York. Tell us how. Is it vital to live? Is it one of the vital areas to live in order if you want to be a filmmaker? I know these days with the internet and everything, you could be in Chicago, you could be anywhere, but why in particular is New York like a beating heart of? Because it is. Everyone knows a lot of filmmaking is done on the East Coast. What is it about New York that seems to have? Because I assume you could work anywhere if you wanted to.
Yeah, I think
there's a particular reason you're staying there and working as that as your hub.
Well,
what connection? You know what I'm trying to drive at.
Yes. Well, I'm a native New Yorker.
Yeah.
So born and raised in New York. I spent about 7 years in Los Angeles, and I wanted to go back to New York. And so East, my TV show, is everything east of Hollywood.
Yeah.
So what is the entertainment industry like in New York City? And the truth is, there are so many talented, incredible artists in New York, which we know. I mean, it's New York. But to be able to tap into the independent film world in New York is extraordinary.
Is that easier than the West Coast? Or easier might be the wrong word. Is it better in New York?
I don't think they're apples and oranges. They're different. They're such different cities. For me, as a native New Yorker, and I lived in London, I studied at the London School of Economics for 6 months,
wow.
I loved it here. I love the energy of these cities. LA is a different energy.
Yeah.
And it's not good or bad, it's just different. For me, I'm more at home in New York. So my family, my friends, my lifestyle is New York. But if you have to move to LA, you have to move to LA. I think today you can make a film anywhere in the world, and that's the beauty of it.
So I kind of touched on this with Paige, and I'm kind of giving you a choice that you can only be in front or behind the camera.
No, don't ask me that.
Come on.
Don't ask me that.
All right, okay, all right. This might make it easier or more difficult. So you've been offered to direct the next Star Wars film, okay? Because you know that's a tentpole film, yeah?
Yeah.
You know it's going to
Yes.
make a shed load of money. Or you've got the lead in the next Star Wars film, the next female lead that's going to carry the film. You can't have both. Which one are you going to go for? And the money is equal. It doesn't matter if you're in front or behind. Which one are you going to do?
I'm going to let the universe decide.
Oh.
Well, because with my films, I play the lead and I direct. And I love them both. They bring out different sides of me.
Oh, right, okay.
Directing-
Your life depends on it. Because I know it's a tough question.
It's a really tough question because directing is, I love it so much. And one of the things I love about directing is helping actors get to a place that's really authentic and in the moment, and helping other people shine and bringing a story to life and the detail that it takes. I love that. But stepping into a role as an actor and being in the moment, in a scene with your partner, and making that your reality, it's pretty tough to give up.
Okay.
I love them both.
Okay, listen, that's wonderful.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And I'm just so grateful to be here. It's really been a fun festival. I love all the banners, and everyone's just been working so hard, and I appreciate it.
I really appreciate it. No, I really appreciate your nice comments. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Sasha Moore is back in the United States. We believe she landed at JFK sometime last night.
Do we know where she's been all this time?
She's impossible to track. Interpol in Belgrade had a first sighting of her last week near the Serbian border, but she managed to clear it.
Tell me what you really want.
There's a Monet exhibit at the Met. I just love this work.
Are you sure you don't want extra security?
I'm about to make a big fat commission on the sale of a multi-million-dollar piece today.
It's a surprise. It's your 30th birthday.
Are you kidding me with that?
What?
Yelling my age from the rooftops for everyone to hear?
The Norwegian.
Sasha Moore is gone, and we don't know where she is.